Adjusting mine too.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Media Boat Podcast, your weekly episode where we talk about movies, TV, music, and video games, not necessarily in that order. My name is Mike. His name is Matt.
My name is Matt. His name is Mike. Thank you for joining us today on the Media Boat Podcast. Today is October the 15th, 2024. This is episode 457. And yeah, we have stuff to talk about as always. So
Yep,
let's just dive right in.
we've got quite a bit of thought, but before we get to thoughts, we got to get into the music section. Start the music section with the Billboard. Start the Billboard with the Hot 100. And the hottest song in the land is still a bar song. Tipsy by Shaboozey. At 2, Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish. Coming in at 3, I Had Some Help by Post Malone, featuring Morgan Wallen. At 4, Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter. And rounding out your top 5, Die with a Smile by Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga.
Yeah, usual suspects. No new debuts here. Just same old, same old.
As for your albums chart, your Billboard 200, at number 1 is, of course, Mood Music by Coldplay. Coming in at 2, Short in Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter. At 3, The Rise and Fall of the Midwest Princess by Chappell Roan. Coming in at 4, One Thing at a Time by Morgan Wallen. And rounding out your top 5, Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish.
Yeah, notable this week is that Coldplay record, that is the first number one the band has had in over 10 years. They had yet to make a number one debut with their modern albums. But this one hit.
I believe that. I think this is but more curiosity than like actually putting out good music because we won't see this in the top 5 next week.
Probably not, no.
Prediction. All right. If you didn't like any of those albums, specifically the Coldplay album, we have new releases, starting with Fate and Alcohol by Japandroids. The Gift of Love by Jennifer Hudson. Yes, that Jennifer Hudson.
Yeah.
Music for People Who Believe in Love by Joe Jonas. Yes,
Yes.
of the Jonas Bonus Brothers.
Correct. Yes.
There's also Lively Premonition by Jordana. Lots of J's I'm noticing here.
Mhm.
Make It Fit by Karate. Dream State by Kelly Lee Owens. Tension 2 by Kylie, trademark. Minogue. Heavy Lifting by MC5. The Neon Gate by Nap Eyes. Clouds in the Sky, They Will Always Be There for Me by Porridge Radio. It's a good name. We also have Slipping Away by Tim Heidecker. Every Inch the Earth Pulsates by W.H. Lung. And lastly, Sean by Sean Mendez.
Yes.
All
Sure.
right.
Weird week.
It's a weird week. There's a lot of names I recognize here. There's also not a lot of stuff I'm like itching to listen to.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. Um, you question their name, which is making me think you have not heard of them. But that Japan Droids record is actually their final record. They've kind of been in and out over the last 15 years. But yeah, I might listen to that. I've liked their stuff in the past.
Well, I paused because I want to make sure if it was Jap androids or Japan droids.
Maybe don't say that first one.
Okay. Well, then let's get into the music news. And it's kind of a slow week.
Yeah.
So let's go to our favorite well, the Taylor Swift well.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I got this week. I don't know. Not that much going on.
Not really, because Taylor Swift has donated $5 million in relief efforts to communities struggling in the wake of Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. On their social media, the nonprofit organization Feeding America released a statement from CEO Babino Fortnot confirming Swift's quote generous donation. Yes, obviously there was a hurricane the past 2 weeks, one right after the other. Devastation everywhere in Florida. I hear your mom is safe, correct?
Yes, I spoke to her last week. She said that they are fine.
All right. So yes, if you this is our PSA. If you can donate, donate to the Red Cross. If you can grab someone else's phone, make them donate to the Red Cross. It's $10 to 90999. Very quick, very easy, and you'll have a hard time having someone try and dispute $10 to the Red Cross.
Yeah.
In other Taylor Swift news, she has a couple of major releases on the way. No, not those kind of releases. This is for the holiday season. Specifically, a first-time CD vinyl edition of the Tortured Poets Department, the anthology, which is the expanded version, plus a book commemorating the Eras Tour. The products will be coming out exclusively at Target on Black Friday. So, if you weren't already planning on going to Target, Target's got who you want now.
Yeah.
Target's
The art,
trying to like spend that ad money early so you know where to shop. And
yeah,
hey, while I'm at Target, might as well buy my Christmas stuff here and not Amazon or
yeah.
Walmart or Best Buy or the Gap or the Phil or Costco or Lowe's or Home Depot or Sam's Club or Bucky's or Hardee's or Chipotle or McDonald's
We don't have
or
time for this
Wendy's.
bit.
Okay.
I
All right.
appreciate it though. What I'll say is the book sounds interesting. I like the idea of like a book commemorating the Eras Tour. What will be in there is anyone's guess. Possibly a lot of pictures. I know she mentioned some fan content, maybe some lyrics. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. As for the vinyl, this is interesting because yes, you could get vinyl and CD copies of the regular Tortured Poets Department prior to this, but this is the first time that the anthology tracks are available in a non-digital form. So that's what the big deal is here, is that people who want a vinyl with the anthology tracks will now have their wish granted.
Yeah, I mean, I think something like the Eras Tour book would be a great like compilation book, or not a compilation book, a coffee table book.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or it I mean, because you want it out there, you want it displayed to be like, yes, I was one of the lucky few to get this book.
Or not. You can read it and pretend that you were there, you know.
Yes, because Disney Plus does not exist.
Right.
All right. So you listened to Brat the sequel,
Yeah,
the
you could call it
remix.
that. What Charlie calls it is Brat, and it's completely different, but also still Brat. And this is the remix album that she had been teasing for the last few weeks. She had put billboards all over the US and overseas in some cases, basically pointing out the artists that would be featured on the remix tracks. And now we have it. And I think the most surprising part about this is just how different it is. The name is not kidding, turns out. Most of the songs here, with one exception that I'll get to, are pretty different sounding songs than their original counterparts on Brat proper. It's not just song with a guest verse from the new guest. That's not what this is at all. Charlie has completely new verses in most of these songs as well. They sound different enough where this could be seen as a separate album entirely. That's kind of how I've been thinking about it. I've listened to it twice now, and yeah, it's well, not maybe as good. It's almost as good as the proper Brat. And this is not the first time Charlie's done an album with a lot of features. In fact, if you look at her discography, a lot of her albums prominently feature featured artists. She's usually big on collabs. So this is not a first for her either. It kind of does remind me a little bit of her album Pop 2, which is also full of features. And even though this is based on previous material, it still feels fresh and original in a lot of interesting ways. Just like the original Brat, the best song is still Sympathy with a Knife. Sympathy is a knife, and then the worst song is still Mean Girls. So at least it's consistent. I'm sorry, Julian Casablancas, we didn't need you. But yes, a lot of the guest spots are really well chosen. I really like Ariana Grande's part in Sympathy is a Knife. It harkens back to a lot of the same stuff she was singing about on Eternal Sunshine earlier this year. A lot of talking about the effect that fans have on stars and like what that means when you have a weird relationship with your fan base. And it kind of delves into that. In fact, overall, one of the more interesting parts about this remix album is how personal it is. There were a couple of songs on Brat, the first one, that got into kind of how Charlie's feeling now, if you will. But this one delves even deeper. A lot of the songs are about kind of personal stuff, how she's been reacting to her newfound fame, what she wants to do with her future, like reuniting with friends, thinking about the good times, and some romantic stuff like with her boyfriend George in the 1975. The 1975 shows up here, by the way, in one of the tracks. So yeah, it's like it's interesting that how much work she put into this, how different it is, and how much of an open book she is now. And it's not at all what she could have done. She could have very easily just churned out a few guest verses and just re-released Brad again and for the streaming numbers. But one of the reviews I read even pointed out these songs are so different they may not even qualify for the Billboard rules of what stands as a remix. So the reason why most artists nowadays put out remix albums might not even work for this. So it means that she didn't care. Like she's doing this out of passion. She's doing this almost it could almost be read as a reaction to the reaction to Brat.
Right.
And so yeah, it's just fascinating just like that this thing even exists. But it's good and it's surprising and yeah, it is perfect kind of companion piece to the original album.
I mean, it's good that she's doing something different. I mean, it also not straight up calling it a remix.
Right.
I mean, like gives it that separation that yes, this is still Brat, but like the album says, something completely different.
Right.
So aptly titled. Well done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I recommend it if you
Did you
like.
have fun listening to it though?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's just as good, almost as good as the original. It was a
Ah,
good
I hear it
companion
almost.
piece.
I hear it almost.
Well, yeah, I think it's partially because I don't love all the guests here, and not all the songs super worked for me, like I mentioned. Um, so yeah, I prefer the original versions of several of them. But since it's not just trying to do the same thing again, that means it has carved out its own niche, which is neat, and I think it's still valuable to have. So yeah, if you liked Brat original, you'll like this as well.
All right, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
I did not listen to anything. Did you listen to
All right.
anything else?
That's pretty much it. I'll just briefly say the Linda's record, which I believe is called No Obligations. It's good. It's pretty similar to the first one, so there's not really much I have to say. If you want like a fun punk girl like teen girl singing punk music, it's still that. There's still that, and it's there.
All right. With that, let's go into video games. And we start with new releases, including a pair of Retro Realms game.
I don't know what these
Yes.
are. Do you know what Retro Realms is? Because I just put these because I have a rule now where you may have noticed I stopped putting every single game release, but what I
Yep.
do is if I recognize it or if it's a known property, I'll put it on here. These two
hmm
happen to be known properties, so I was like, sure, I don't know what this is, but I'll put it up.
Remakes HDs, I assume, based on the name. Because this is
Maybe.
Retro Realms Ash versus the Evil Dead for
Huh.
everything, and Retro Realms Halloween for everything. Two horror games just in
Yeah,
time for October.
sure.
There's also Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutants Unleashed. Out for everything, wide release. You got it, you can play it. Uh, then we have some big property names, including Neva for the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, and the Switch. A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead for the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X. Just Dance 2025 edition for the PS5, Xbox Series X, and the Switch. New World: Aeternum for the PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X. And your big party release of the year is here.
Yep.
Super Mario Party Jamboree for the Switch. Finally out now.
Yeah, hearing some mixed things about this one. A lot of new modes, but a lot of those modes require a lot more people.
Mhm.
There's a 20 player mode that apparently you can't even make a party on the Switch with more than 8 people. So it just will do random matchmaking after your party. Doesn't seem great. So I don't know.
I feel like it's meant for online play.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. Well, let's stick with Nintendo because we got a couple of stories regarding Nintendo and properties.
Yeah, it was a busy week for video games. Yeah, if we'll get into it, but yeah.
Yeah. We'll start with the big one that most people probably heard about, which is Pokemon developer Game Freak
Hmm.
has acknowledged a massive data breach, which has seen thousands of confidential documents shared online related to the franchise and its employees.
Yes.
Other content related to the company and the Pokemon franchise was also stolen and is being circulated online. However, this content isn't referenced in Game Freak's statement.
So yeah, their statement specifically mentions that their data leak affected their personal information of their employees. This includes contact information, phone numbers, emails, etc. So that is the number one concern that Game Freak has, and naturally so. Obviously, you don't want personal information of your employees going live. That identity theft is a real problem, and it puts them in danger. That's bad, and that's the worst thing that happened here. However, if you've been on the internet, most of the people who are Pokemon fans have focused on the other half of this leak, which is a bunch of documents, about a terabyte of stuff about future and past Pokemon video games, as well as some information about the anime, including full transcripts saying about what the future of the anime holds. Beta versions, both art and art and descriptions from previously released Pokemon games, as well as some rough outlines of possibly canon plans for the future of the Pokemon and like franchise, as well as maybe some origins of how Pokemon came to be and all this stuff. And what I have to say is, I know the internet is ran with this thing like it's a football down the gridiron, but what I'm going to say is always take this stuff with a grain of salt. Whenever you see leaks from video game developers, they're spitballing, man. They're throwing stuff against the wall. Like, that is not canon unless it's released in a game. Also, canon is such a weird term that who knows what is and who isn't, what isn't, anyways. It's all fiction. Just don't care about it that much. But anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of questionable stuff in there. There's a lot of like stuff where it's like, I don't like that being part of Pokemon. Well, good news. It's not part of Pokemon until they put it in a video game. So just keep that in mind when you see this stuff. I purposefully have been trying to avoid it. I have not looked at any of the leaks. But I've seen people referencing some of the stuff, and it's just like, use your common sense out there, is what I'll say.
Yeah, I think that unless it's put out specifically by Game
Mhm.
Freak on purpose, specifically
Yes.
by a Pokemon company on purpose, put out specifically by Nintendo on purpose,
Yeah.
part of like an official event, official merchandising, it's
Mhm.
all ether. It's all speculation, like you
Right.
said. It's
Yeah.
all concept art,
Yes.
essentially.
Yeah. Think of it as
It's
concept.
concept that, gets shaped, gets worked, gets molded. Um, Rough edges and rough drawings
Yes.
get refined a
Yes.
lot. Rough ideas get massaged
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. Just
Um,
because one employee has an idea
yes,
or multiple ideas that maybe border on good taste, that doesn't mean that the people in the executive boardroom are going to be like, okay, check mark. Yep, we're putting that in the next game. You're brilliant. No, that's not how business works. It goes through countless people to vet and approve and to determine whether it does represent Pokemon as a brand. This stuff that you're seeing is not face those tests yet, as you may have assumed. So just hold your horses, hold your horsies. Okay.
right. That's why when something like actually does make it through testing and quality and get approval and still makes it into the game, then it's hilarious.
Exactly.
This
So yeah,
isn't. This is like breaking and entering and sharing private
yeah,
information, confidential data.
right. So the last thing I'll say about it is you guys you made fun of them for releasing a game too soon, and now you're making fun of them for taking their sweet ass time releasing the next thing. Pick a lane. Just pick one. Anyway.
There's no lane. You can both have it be too soon and also not too soon at the exact same time.
It's fine. I'm sure whatever Pokemon Legends ZA is, we will like it. Just wait for that.
Yes, it has Pokemon branding on it.
Yeah,
Let it come to you.
just wait for it. All right, let's move on.
Speaking of branding,
Yes.
Nintendo has finally, after decades and years of people clamoring for it, they finally did it. They finally give the people what they wanted.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Nintendo has announced an interactive alarm clock called Alarmo.
Alarmo.
In addition to playing sounds inspired by officially licensed Nintendo games to wake up the user, the clock reacts to body movement by playing other sounds from the company's games.
Yeah, so they announced this bright and early in the morning last week,
Yep.
one random day. I just happened to have been on YouTube just in time, 6 minutes after it was posted to see what this thing was. And yeah, I definitely thought I was having a weird dream still.
Well, yeah, you had
Um,
to check to make sure it wasn't April Fool's Day.
right? So yeah, Alarmo, as we just said, it plays Nintendo sounds. The motion tracker basically tracks you stirring awake, and the more movements you do, the more noises it will make. If you wait too long, the noises will become more violent and loud. And if you get up, it will triumphantly play a fanfare for you because hey, you did it. Currently
Except
it
it
is
will not be Final Fantasy VII
no,
fanfare because
too
that is
bad,
not
really.
Nintendo officially licensed.
So yeah, a handful of games already have been announced for this thing that will have sounds featured, including Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Splatoon 3, Ring Fit Adventure was in there, Pikmin. So yeah, a handful of favorites, as well as Mario Kart and Animal Crossing at a later date as free downloadable content.
Mhm.
So as of right now, in order to get one of these, you have to pre-order it with your Nintendo Online subscription. Um, it will become wide release later. Nintendo hasn't said when yet. Right now, it is only in its pre-order form. They're available now, though, and it doesn't seem like they're running out, which gives you probably an idea of either one, how many they made of these things, or two, how little the demand is. Uh, I
I mean,
did
I'm
not
going to say it's more of
want
like
this.
who's actually going to be purchasing this thing.
Yeah. The use case is really limited. I guess in the
Yep.
FAQ, they say that it's meant for one person, which means that if you, I don't know, sleep in a bed with your wife or a partner or whoever, it won't work, which is hilarious. It's a product designed for single people, which is very funny to me.
Hey, little kids who love Nintendo are single people,
Yeah,
mostly.
yes. It's very funny that they didn't really show kids in the ad. It was like adults using this, and so it's like this is a very interesting thing that they're doing here. So yeah, there's that. Just keep that in mind. But they did say that it will be continued, like they will continually support it in the future, which means that after Animal Crossing, there may be more games added to it as a service later. I want to wake up to Star Fox, like saying saying something about Slippy or something. I want to like wake up to I don't know what else do we got? Kirby saying hi, like more and more, and going and like breathing in more and more and more until I wake up. Like,
Or like
and where's
his Kirby
Pokemon?
suction sound
Yeah,
getting louder and louder to make you wake up, like you're getting sucked in.
yeah. Where's Pokemon on this thing? Like I want a Pikachu to electric shock me if I don't wake up.
You don't want Jinx jabbering away.
Ooh, no. So yeah, needless to say, it's not for us, maybe, but there's somebody out there that will love this, and good for them. It's a neat idea, but it's not quite there.
If only they could bundle it with Pokemon Sleep.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people saying like, there's got to be a way they can connect them, right?
Right.
Possibly. I don't know.
Maybe. All right. And lastly, in video
Yes,
game news,
this
we
one's one
have
just
an
for me.
official release date.
Yes.
Well, sometimes it's just for
Sometimes they're
us.
just for us, and this one is just for us.
Yes, because retro specialist Digital Eclipse will release Tetris Forever
Mhm.
on November 12th. We are a month
Hell
away
yeah.
from Tetris Forever.
I am so excited for Tetris Forever. Give me new Tetris games that I've never played, please. And give me the history of Tetris in interactive form. Is all I want. And so I'm so glad that it's a month away.
Yeah, I probably got to charge my Switch just to play this. All right. Did you play anything?
No, not really. So I have a note for in a couple weeks. On the 29th, is the release date for Life is Strange Double Exposure.
Hmm.
But if you got the super fancy Ultimate Edition, you got to play it today. The first two chapters are available early access if you bought that highest tier. But because I'm sane and not full of money, I don't know if you know this, I'm not made of cash. I'm made of human. Um, so I did not buy the ultimate version. So I am not playing that game yet. But I wanted to tell our audience, yes, I do plan on playing it, but I didn't shell out for the early access. So I do not have access to it yet. But watch this space.
It's also why it's not in our new releases section yet.
Correct, yes. But yeah, but people are out there playing it. So if you are spoiler conscious, avoid Twitch streams because people will have probably started streaming today.
Yeah.
Heads up.
But just the first two episodes.
Yeah. And then Black Ops 6 comes out in like what, a week, I think. So
Lops.
yeah, so
Lops
that's
V.
that's also coming up. So I'll have thoughts about that too once that comes out. So but in the
All right.
meantime, kind of just waiting for stuff to release. And so yeah, just hitting pause.
Okay. Well, then let's hit go into television. Let's start to sell television with the sports section,
Sports Corner.
sports corner. All right. Uh, well, it's here. We have a championship just on the verge of happening. The
Yeah.
WNBA finals are currently going on. The New York Liberty versus the Minnesota Lynx. And that series is tied 1-1.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, what's going on? Brianna Stewart and the Lynx taking on Brianna Ionescu at the Liberty. Series tied 1-1. We'll see who will probably, I think we'll have a winner by the time we record next week.
Okay.
On to the other side of that, the NBA, we have the official tip-off next Tuesday, the 22nd, which means in 1 week's time, we will officially enter the perfect sports week where all sports will be playing at the exact same time for 2 weeks straight
Yep.
until baseball ends.
Well,
So big
cherish it while
sports.
you have it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, cheers. It's coming here. For that tip-off game, we tip-off day, we have the New York Knicks going into the TD Garden uh to help Boston Celtics raise last year's banner, give them their rings, and then royally get pounded by them because they're the Knicks. Then the second game on the other side of the country, we have the Timberwolves at Los Angeles Lakers, where we will see father and son on the court in the exact same time in an official NBA game, mind you,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
as the Jameses, Brony and son, Brony and father, King and Brony. Yeah, let's go with King and Brony. We'll take on the Timberwolves.
All right.
All right,
Basketball.
that's basketball. All right, let's get over into football real quick, where the last of the London games will be played this upcoming Sunday. But don't worry, overseas, we will have a Germany game the following week. Uh, and in NFL news, Tom Brady is a minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Wow. Why?
Because money?
Okay. Because he loved spending it?
Yeah, he spent so much of it that he has to find a way to make new money now because that $100 million broadcasting job from Fox just isn't covering all this shit that he lost in the crypto sphere from with
Yeah,
FTX. So yeah,
fair enough.
Tom Brady now owns a piece of the Las Vegas Raiders while also being a broadcaster for Fox and
Hmm.
also being the Tostitos spokesman and being the Progressive spokesperson
Hmm.
and being the Pepsi
Yeah.
spokesperson
Uh-huh.
and being the Frito-Lay's spokesperson and
And
being the uh was it Hertz auto rental car spokesperson.
and one thing I almost said, then I realized, oh wait, we're recording this on a podcast, so I'm not gonna say it. Yeah, he's a man of all seasons, really.
Yep, he has many tastes.
Yeah, sure. Uh, cool. I guess. I don't know
Yeah,
what to say about this. Rich people do rich things,
yeah, like become part owner of a team you never played for
right? Sure.
or could have played for and decided not to play for them.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways,
Anyway, speaking of playing, let's finally get to the meat of this thing. The
yes.
MLB playoffs.
Yes. Say goodbye to the Tigers, the Royals, the Phillies, and the Padres, aka the four teams that I wanted to win their series. They
Bye bye.
all lost.
Yeah, this is why we
I
don't make predictions
apparently
in baseball and
I was
only in pick'ems in football.
well, here's the thing is, hey, I am 1 point ahead of you still in the pick'em league, just
Yeah,
pointing out. I don't know how
I
this
know.
keeps happening. I don't know how I'm just 1 point ahead of you every week.
Because we picked the exact same teams. That's why.
I don't look at yours though. I don't
I know
look at
you can't look it
anything.
up.
Right. It just so happens. Anyways, but yeah, when I talked to Christy about this, she said like, "Well, it's because you picked who you wanted to win, not who probably would." I'm like, shh, 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 shh. Anyways,
Yes, that's what I
so
do.
so yeah, anyway, the way I wanted this to go is not the way it has gone. The teams that moved ahead, of course, were the Mets, the Dodgers, the Guardians, and the Yankees. So those are your current matchups for the division series, right? Or the conference series. My bad. So right now, as it stands, I'm looking at the standings right now. There's one game
So
in
1-1.
progress.
Yeah, one game's in progress, and the other one is
Yes.
tied 1-1.
So yes, as of yesterday, the Mets and Dodgers series is tied 1-1, with each having won a game. Dodgers notably, you have this here. I might as well mention this now. They notably threw 33 straight scoreless innings between the last game of the previous series and the first game of this series, which is
Mhm.
a playoff record, I believe, now for the
It
league.
ties the playoff
Ties
record
playoff
from
record.
1906.
So yeah, just stellar pitching coming
And
from.
as soon as they threw that setup, I knew it was going to get broken. And
Oh
sure
yeah,
enough,
sure. No, they
first
did.
player up to bat, Lindor Truffle hits a goddamn home run.
Delicious. But yeah,
Well, it wasn't delicious in Los Angeles, but yes, very delicious.
needless to say, the Mets are not done shocking people and just shocked the Dodgers yesterday. We'll see how that continues in game three, which is scheduled for tomorrow.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the Guardians Yankees series is a little more predictable. The Yankees took game one pretty easily. Game two is happening right now. It is the bottom of the second, and currently the Yankees are still leading 2-0.
Yep.
So we'll see how that pans out. Those are 7 game series, so it'll be a little bit until we find out who wins those.
Yep, none of these
Um,
3 and 5 game uh, little mini series.
right, exactly.
Full
So
7 game series. I think the MLB proper company would like to see the Yankees win and then play
yeah,
whoever from the NL.
yeah, but there's
Because if they get the Mets, it's a Subway
right.
Series. If they get the
Yeah,
Dodgers, you get the two largest metropolitan areas going at it
I
for
think
all
where
those viewers. And
yeah,
they're 1-1 team. Number one on the East Coast, number one on the or AL, number one on the NL.
mhm.
Shohei Ohtani, uh, Mr. Creative Player Aaron Judge. I think that's what the MLB wants. I hope they don't get it, but I think that's what they want.
Yeah. What I'll say is there's ways that I would like. I'm sorry. I just got a spam text that just says, I'm coming to church this evening.
You should just reply back, "Hail
Cool.
Satan."
Anyway, that's very funny.
Actually, no, don't reply
what I'll
because that
say,
means they know it's an active number.
yeah,
Never reply to Rand's text, so they know it's an active number. They can spam it constantly.
right. I would prefer this to be a Guardians Mets World Series than a Dodgers Yankees World Series, is what I will say. Because I think the Dodgers Yankees one would be really, really boring. I would accept
Really?
yeah, to me.
With all those bats?
Yeah, but I mean boring in like a big picture
Predictable
way.
fashion?
Yeah, where it's like, all right, these teams have had, had their time. Let's see some interesting things. Also, I don't like the Dodgers. That's
Yes.
that's I think
Yes. Yes. We
framing
know
this a
this.
lot. Yeah.
We know this.
Yeah,
We know this.
exactly. So I would love to see how like I live in Long Beach and the last thing I want is like a billion fireworks going off. And so I would prefer it not to happen. But yeah,
Well,
I
then
would
we'll just have the Angels move to Long Beach.
won't happen. You see, apparently already said like I'm committed to Anaheim. Like, of
Yes.
course
He's
you
not going
are.
to sell the team now, even though we rumor
Uh,
he's going to sell the team. And just like, get out of here.
anyway, we don't have time to talk about that. But yeah, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. Next week when we record, we may know the World Series if unless the games both go to game seven.
Yep. If they both
Um,
go to game seven, we won't
then
find
we
out because
won't
we're
know.
playing on Tuesday.
Right, we won't know until the following podcast, if that's the
Yes.
case. But yeah, their
But
schedule
that's only
currently
if both of them go to
right.
game seven.
If both of them go to game seven, which is unlikely considering how these games, especially how these teams have played.
I don't know. I think the NL might do it. I think the NL might go game seven.
Yeah, it could happen.
That means the Yankees get all that rest and burn all that momentum.
Yeah, as much as I don't like the Mets for eliminating some of my favorite teams, they are objectively out of the four the most interesting team playing right now. So I hope they make it.
Because they got a polar bear on their team
They do have a polar bear on their team, and Jesse Winker for better
and
for
Lindor
worse.
truffles.
And Lindor truffles, delicious. All right, let's move on.
All right. Let's move south then to a team that's not playing in the MLB playoffs, the Tampa Bay Rays, where
Yes.
soon they'll be getting a lot of rays on their field as that roof got blown off of Tropicana Field thanks to Hurricane Milton. Now, current estimate to fix said roof is $100 million plus, up in the 9 figures to fix and repair the roof. The problem that people are now realizing is that the Rays owner kind of wants a new stadium anyways. And it was looking to have a new stadium built in like having like construction like being started in 2027, 2028.
Mhm.
So it doesn't make sense for him to have $100 million roof put on there.
Yeah,
And then 3 years later,
spend that
well,
money
I'm
again.
going to tear it down or sell it or whatever.
Yes, but
So,
that then puts the if that does timetable does change, then what do the Rays do?
yes.
Yeah.
But do the Rays do indeed?
Hmm.
It's almost as if they need a stadium that has recently been emptied and vacated
Uh-huh.
that they can just come in and use. So of course they're going to move back up to Toronto and become the Expos again.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Or they could mosey on over to the West Coast
Yeah. Briefly become
to
the Oakland Rays.
Oakland Rays, where
Oakland
we'll have an
Rays.
AL East team playing out of Oakland.
Only if they always wear those skateboarding Rays City Connects, even though they're not in their city.
That'd be hilarious. But
Yeah.
you have the AL East Rays playing in Oakland
Yeah.
and makes just as much sense as the college team right next to them, the Cal Bears and the Stanford Cardinals,
It's
playing
true.
in the ACC, which is on the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Hey, you know
Makes
what?
total sense,
When
right?
it comes to conferences, all bets are off now.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see what happens because Tropicana Field doesn't have a drainage system on the field. So if slash when it does rain and there
Mhm.
is no roof,
Yeah.
it will be flooded because there is no
Yeah.
draining
They cannot
in
play
that
there.
stadium.
Yeah, they cannot play there until they get a roof.
Right, because they
Yeah.
depend on that roof to prevent rain.
Yes.
So we'll
So,
see what
yeah,
happens
we'll
come
see.
next season. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
sure we'll know before then because they have to like actually construct something, but who knows? Tarp City, baby. All right. Uh, anything else about the MLB?
No, that's
No.
pretty much it until we find out more.
Yep. All right. Let's go to the last section in sports with hockey.
Yes, it's back.
It's back. It's fast. It's hard hitting. Your favorite player's probably on IR already. So let's start with taking a look at the number one overall pick, Macklin Celebrini, who played for the San Jose Sharks, made his debut on opening night, and scored a goal
Hmm.
at the 7-minute mark,
Wow.
which statistically is the second fastest in NHL history by
Damn.
a by a player selected number one overall.
Right.
The person who has the record, some guy named Mario Lemieux,
Only
who
one of the most
scored
famous hockey players of all time.
who scored his first goal for the Pittsburgh Penguins in 3 minutes back in 1984, and then went on to play for the next 30 some odd years.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, something like that. Well, if you're looking forward to more Celebrini goals, you're probably gonna have to wait a while though, because
Yeah.
after well, they lost that first game, but after maintaining that record, he's been placed on the IR, where he'll miss at least the
Ooh.
next two games, basically an entire week. Not long-term
Well,
IR, where he's got to miss 20 days, but just he's been dealing with stomach issues during preseason, during trainings and warm-ups, and finally got to him.
when he comes back, you'll be able to Celebrini his return.
Yes, with a Bellini
Delicious.
toast to it.
Anyway, is that it for
Anyways,
sports?
yeah, and then the Utah Hockey Club,
Yes.
it's a thing now.
The thing now.
They've won one.
Hey, that's pretty
Congratulations, it's
good.
one. Yeah, better
They're
than what
undefeated.
the Coyotes did
Yeah, pretty
at
much.
this time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Anyway.
anyways, that's hockey
Cool.
and
All
that's
right. That's
sports.
hockey. That's sports. So thank you for the sports corner. We now will move on to television news. And this week we're talking about Dan Fogelman. Huh.
Yes, of the
Okay.
Fogelmans.
No, no, it's different. Dan Fogelman, the co-creator of Hey, remember the Fox show Pitch about the
Yes.
lady pitching in Major League Baseball? Well, he's creating a new sports-centered show. Hulu has ordered a multi-generational family drama series set within the NFL universe. He is also the creator of the upcoming drama series Paradise, starring Sterling K. Brown and James Marsden, also coming to Hulu. Fogelman's other TV credits include Gallivant and The Neighbors. He's also done some other movies, and yeah, he's been all over the place.
Yeah, he's also did This Is Us, creator of This Is Us.
Yes, yes.
I don't know why it wasn't listed
Yeah,
here
I don't know
in the
why
blurb.
his most successful show is not on here, or his movie
Yeah,
career. But
yeah,
yeah,
yes.
most notable. But yes, I like how this story leads with pitch, which is very funny. But yeah, NFL show. Would you be interested in this?
I am interested in this because if it's anything like This Is Us, which dealt with multi-generational family drama, I could see this being either quarterback heavy or linebacker heavy. Do they take inspiration from the Manning clan? Or do they take inspiration from the Watt clan? Or like it could go in my rate of different ways. I'm already into this just because I was really into This Is Us
Mhm.
and I'm really into football. And if this is going to be anything like those, I'm into it. Also, he's executive producer on Only Murders in the Building, already on Hulu. So he's
Mm,
kind of like in that Hulu pipeline, which this makes sense that's
yeah,
going there.
very clearly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to
So
check
yeah,
something real quick
another
because
one I'm going to have to add to my list when it gets picked up or when it gets like rolling and shooting. So probably next year.
okay, well, we'll look forward to it. Oh, he wrote Tangled.
Yes. And Cars and Bolt.
Oh, and Crazy Stupid Love.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So he's been
Yeah,
all
he
over the
had a
place.
movie career.
Yeah, he did. Anyway, let's move on
Yep.
to cancellations. Oh no, we have some thoughts to
I
talk
have a
about before
career. Yeah.
cancellations and renewals. I watched an episode of one of these.
Uh, is it not the one I'm thinking of?
I don't know. It depends. Which is the one you're thinking of?
All right, let's go with Last Bite Hotel.
That's the one. So yeah. Do you like food? Do you like
Do you like
haunted
cooking
houses?
competitions?
Yeah. Do you like cooking competitions? Do you like haunted houses where shit goes down? What about both in the same show?
Yeah. Hosted by Titus uh
That is Burgess.
Burgess. Yes.
Yes.
I was gonna say Andromeda. I was like, no, that's not right. That's a different one.
No, that was his fake name
Yes, that's the fake name.
in
Uh,
Kimmy Schmidt.
yes.
Um, yeah, it's an interesting fusion. The way that I pitched it to Christy was it's like, what if the Traders meets Chopped? And that's basically what this is.
Yeah, except there's a very interesting twist that I haven't seen in any other cooking show,
Yeah.
which is that you are only, as a contestant or as a chef, you are only allowed to bring 13 ingredients. But once you get eliminated, those 13 ingredients stay in the competition and have to be willed, divvied, um, testamented to one of the other contestants
Right.
to use as part of their pantry.
Yeah.
And as the competition continues, resources get less and less and less.
Turns out.
So yeah, it's interesting. I like this concept. It's
Yeah.
new, it's different, and it's just got the right amount of like over the top spooky humor to where
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, I'm in the mood for this because it's October.
Yeah, yeah, it's very seasonally appropriate. It's light, and it's got enough of a reality hook to it where Christy, who's somebody who doesn't watch a whole lot of food shows, is also digging it. So yeah, it's a neat little thing.
Yeah. I like how it also plays into like a lot of those horror aspects, a lot of those canted angles, those spooky sound notes and everything going into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Last Bite Hotel, it's on Food Network, it's on Max. It's kind of fun to watch. Not sure I can say the next thing about the next thing, which is I watched HBO's The Franchise.
Yeah, saw some trailers for this. I'm skeptical. It gave me the same vibes as, well, this is actually a show you did like, right? That Mystic Quest show on Apple TV.
Yep,
It
Mythic
reminded
Quest.
me of the same kind of thing. Is it that?
It is that.
Yeah.
It's behind the scenes of the making of a big budget tentpole superhero film. But you follow the first AD as he tries to wrangle in the director, the cast, the crew, and a first hire third AD as well, and like trying to train her in what's happening in the movie. And the first episode is that there's a new boss, there's a new producer on it, and it's the third AD's former ex.
Of course.
Because of course it is, throwing some extra tension in there as well. Um, it's kind of a mix, I think, between the uh filming side of Entourage and, like you said, Mythic Quest, where it is like behind the scenes, the shit show that goes on, and how somehow it all comes together to a film in the end. Uh, I think it's a fun look behind the scenes. Definitely not like as accurate. Could potentially ruin movies for you if it's like, oh, like yeah, I know. Like when I watch a movie and watch a final product, you only get one take, one take, one take. You don't see the five, six, seven, eight takes. But this, the franchise goes into it, and all the different five, six, seven, eight takes, eight different ways you can ruin a take and get frustrated and try and move on, but you can't because you need the shot. So it's that fun, like behind the scenes stuff, which I like in a comedic taste. It stars Himesh Patel of Yesterday fame,
Okay.
the Danny Boyle movie.
Yeah.
He's done other stuff too, I think, but that's the one I just keep going back to. And Daniel Bruhl of Marvel fame.
Yeah.
So like he was also in, oh god, one of those World War One movies. It's like five of them at the same time. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's
One of them.
well, because it's like, is it 1917? Is it Oppenheimer? Is it How the
Hmm.
West Was Won? It's one of those. But yeah, it's fun to watch if you like kind of those behind the scenes,
Sure.
the clashing of the egos,
If you
and
care
like
about that
so,
kind of
and
thing.
one person trying to keep it all together. Uh, Otherwise, I could either see this being a pass. I could either see this being a one season show.
Yeah.
But we'll see. There's only two
We'll see.
episodes up right now, so that's
All
the
right.
franchise on
Well,
HBO.
I have a
And if I
breaking
didn't
thought.
sell you on it, that's okay.
Yeah.
It'll sell itself in the first 5 minutes because it does a really long take in that first section. And I'm like, oh, I'm into this because this is what I would want to see. This is how I would do it.
Yeah.
But how it does it is its own separate thing. So, like I said, you can your mileage may vary, but like if you're not hooked by like those first 10 minutes, that first like opening long take, then yeah, it might not be for you.
I have a breaking take from, I guess, one of Christie's coworkers who has been watching Dr. Odyssey.
Oh, the boat show, Doctor Boat,
Yeah. Yeah, the
Doctor
doctor
Boatman.
that's on the boat.
Yes,
She says, apparently in the first episode of Dr. Odyssey, someone breaks their penis.
makes sense.
Yeah.
In
Is
the
it Don
first
Johnson?
episode of 911 season, it was B NATO.
Right, I heard. I'm asking her if it was Don Johnson. I need to know. All right. Moving on while I wait for the answer to that question. Let's go into cancellations and renewals.
What am I no longer watching?
You're no longer watching The Serpent Queen on Stars. I don't think anybody was because it's been canceled after 2 seasons. Netflix has canceled Unstable after a second season. Apparently, it was unstable.
Yep.
We also have some renewals, including The Night Agent, which got renewed on Netflix for its third season. Reacher on Prime Video, renewed for a fourth season.
That's ahead of its third season premiere next week.
Nobody wants this on Netflix. Apparently, people did want it because it gets a second season on Netflix when its first season just premiered.
Yeah, that's the rom-com
Yeah.
TV show.
I briefly talked to that. I said that Christy and I had watched the first episode of that. We haven't watched more than that still. So we'll get to it.
Is this
Um,
is this the one with Kristen Bell?
Kristen Bell and Adam Brody of the OC fame.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, because that's where you know Adam Brody from.
That's how we know Adam Brody. Come on. We love the OC. We're an OC pro house here. And then The Diplomat gets a third season on Netflix, and Slow Horses, them slow ass horses, get a fourth season on Apple TV Plus.
Well, they're so slow that they need a fourth season to finish.
That's true. That's how close. That's how slow they are. All right. That's it for television. Let's
All
move
right.
on to the final segment of the show in perfect time for movies. And we have, of course, to start the movies, the weekend box office numbers. Well, turns out it's October and it's time for horror movies to return. Your number one movie this week is Terrifier 3 with $14 million. My understanding about the Terrifier franchise is kind of like aping 1980s like direct to VHS horror
Hmm.
movies. So it's like very cheesy, very like horror tropey, but to the tune of $14 million, people like it. So there you go. Your number two movie was The Wild Robot with a number with $14 million this week. That's at 84 million so far. That will probably reach 100 by the end of its run. Number three, Beetlejuice with another $7.3 million. That's at 275. One of the best performing movies of the year, folks. Who has seen that coming? What
Tim
is
Burton did.
not, yeah, right? What is not one of the best performing movies of the year is Joker Fully Ado,
What have I written here?
which you have put down as What a Joker, which only made $7 million this week, which means it's only at 51 million.
That is
Whew.
10%, less than 10% of what it made domestic of what Joker made domestically 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
So yeah. Then rounding out your top five at number five, Piece by Piece. That's the Lego Pharrell biopic
Yep.
made $3.8 million in its debut. So nobody cares.
Did
In
not
case you're
target the right
wondering,
Lego people.
in case you're wondering about the two other debuts from this week, Saturday Night failed to impress anybody and debuted at number seven with only $3.4 million. Ouch. That's at 4.1 so far. And right below it, the anime released this week, My Hero Academia, You're Next, only made $3 million. So
Okay. Real briefly, because I forgot to write this down. Did you watch Ariana Grande on SNL?
I did, yes. I thought she did
Okay.
pretty well.
I actually liked the episode, like front to
Yeah,
back.
I think there was only one real dud, the bridesmaids sketch.
Yeah.
But the rest were pretty enjoyable. I was surprised with the overall quality. That's the thing with SNL is that you get one episode every like five episodes that you're like, all right, okay, they're getting something going, and the next week it's just like, wait, no, we're off the rails again. What happened? It's such a crapshoot.
Well, sometimes it
So,
looks like, oh, they know this guest is coming, so they're going to put
right,
extra effort into it.
really
And the
tailored.
other time, it's we're
Yeah.
going to do this in a week because it's in a week.
Yeah, so they really tailored to Ariana's strengths, and I think that part of it really worked. So yeah.
I my best friend's house is stuck in my head.
I showed Christy a lot of those, including that one, because I knew she'd appreciate it. All right. With that, let's move on to some movie news, or actually upcoming new releases for this week.
One,
Make that release. It's still horror season, and another horror movie comes out this week, Smile 2, the sequel to Smile. So there you go.
yep, still smiling.
Still smiling. Now we can move on to our movie news story of the week. And several stories had to connect together to form this week's story about Voltron. Henry Cavill, everyone's favorite PC builder, has come aboard to top line in the live action feature that Rawson Marshall Thurber, director of Weird the Millers and Red Notice, another quality entertainment, is directing for Amazon MGM Studios. The actor joins Daniel Quinn-Toye, a Tom Holland understudy, which is a very funny way to describe somebody.
Well, it's also very accurately because he has zero movie credits to his name.
Oh, good for him. Um, Debuting, I guess, leading the roll call. The plot details for the new version are unclear. Thurber wrote the script with Ellen Shanman. Amazon won the bidding war on the script in March 2023, with productions scheduled to start in Australia next month. Of course, the question you're probably asking is, does this and will this have anything to do with the cartoon series that came out just a few years ago?
No, which
Probably
is why it's
not.
surprising that this is on Amazon because when it was the bidding war, Amazon was the front runner last year because they had the Voltron animated series.
Mhm.
But because the licensing for Voltron does not belong to Netflix,
Right.
then they lost out on the bidding.
Yeah.
So yes,
Sorry.
this will be an original story, original take. This will be a completely brand new iteration of the Voltron series.
Yeah.
And we have a brand new undiscovered actor in Daniel Quinn-Toye,
Mhm.
who was
Yeah.
Tom Holland's understudy in the sorry, not off Broadway, the West End British production of Romeo and Juliet.
Aha. I see.
Yeah, where
So
he
it's,
was the
yeah.
Juliet.
It's clearly. Uh, so
Yes, because
so
Tom
this
Holland can
is
play many roles.
yeah, he's very flexible. So this is Voltron, but it's completely different, but it's still Voltron.
Yes, it's still Voltron. There will still be lions or lion-esque
Sure.
robots forming to make a singular mechanical robot named Voltron,
Yes, as it is wont to do.
as they want to do it.
Mhm.
How closely they will take and learn from the Power Rangers movie of 2017, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
But we'll see.
All right. Well, that's Voltron. Moving on from
Also,
news
I think
though.
Amazon just slaps Henry Cavill onto anything
Yeah.
that's from the 80s IP related because he's
Yeah.
already working on, like the Warhammer stuff, the
Right.
Witcher. He did the Witcher stuff.
Right.
Uh
Because he's a big
he,
nerd.
he's got
He's a
big
huge
muscles,
nerd, but he's a huge
muscular
nerd
nerds.
though. He needs those muscles to paint the intricate details on his Warhammer figurines, you know. Anyway, that's it for news. Let's talk about thoughts. You watched a movie.
Yes.
Tell me,
And
what's inside?
not what's inside, it's what's inside. I'm not talking
It's
about the clown because it is horror.
ugh. Yeah, I don't want a clown inside me. No, thank
No.
you.
Well, actually, a clown may be inside you because that's what this is. It's a body swapping movie.
Oh no.
Yes,
Terrifying.
it is terrifying.
I never
But
want to hear the word clown and body swap in the same sentence.
yeah, except like this clown is one of your friends, one of your chums from college that you haven't
This
seen
clown.
in 8 years. Yeah, this clown.
This clown over here.
Yeah, this clown. Like I haven't seen in 8 years, but this clown. Oh, it's a funny guy. He's showing up with a body swapping machine.
Yeah.
We're all going to play a game, like Mafia and Werewolf, where we're
Uh-huh.
all going to swap bodies and figure out who's in whose body. That's the basic premise of this movie.
Uh-huh.
It's a suspense movie, also kind of a comedy. Uh, just because like the situations that they get in, and just like Mafia and just like Werewolf, lots of twists, lots of turns, lots of lies being thrown back and forth, especially when you have the added mix of friends you haven't seen, college friends you haven't seen in a while, and they're
Sure.
getting together for a wedding.
Kind of
And it's like,
reminds me of
hey,
season one of the After Party in a little way.
it is a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, very small, tight-knit cast of three, six, seven, eight main characters.
Okay.
Nine, one shows up late.
Mhm.
Nine main characters. And how they all like drifted apart over the years, as friends do, and they get together, and you're like, oh, I haven't seen you in so long. Are you still doing this? Are you still into that? And so you have to like play face, save face, like, oh yeah, we're doing fine, or oh yeah, I'm doing great. And so it has that bit of like the after party remix into it. But the way it's shot, the way it's edited, and some of the flashback sequences are top notch. If this was given to a lesser director, it could easily be a flop, and I could easily like see myself being like, well, they don't know what they're doing. But I really like this film. This could be a top five film for me. I've
Wow.
seen it twice
Dang.
because I like the twists that they do in it. And I wanted to see, like, okay, if I watch it second time, knowing what the twists are, one, can I find any more clues? And two, does it still hold up if you know what's coming? Because there's some movies where if you know what the twist is, you're like, oh, well, obviously that's what's going to happen now. Like, I see
Hmm.
it now more clearly. But they're
This,
so well
yeah.
hidden. It's so well hidden and so well done and so well executed that I enjoyed it a second time.
Your reaction to this reminds me of your reaction to They Cloned Tyrone last year. Like a
Yes.
very similar kind of setup where you're like, you didn't really know much about it. You went in and really enjoyed it. And then you wanted to watch it again to see what, like, the little intricacies of what you missed.
Very similar vibes. Also in that like sapphire kind of related realm.
Right.
It is body swapping. And there is a lot of kind of like built for us. There's like some social media influencing into it going on, some like privileged architecture going on, but specifically the way they play with colors, the
Yeah.
art, red, blues, and greens in this film, and the editing is some of the best that I've seen. Some of
Well,
the creative like takes on it. I just hate that this is on Netflix and not being promoted because
yeah.
if this was given to someone like Neon or A24 or
Mhm.
Annapurna, and we've gotten a big marketing push on it,
Right.
more people would be talking about it, more people would be watching it. But
Yeah.
I feel
That's
like because
disappointing.
Netflix purchased it, it's kind of just sitting there because it's been up there for like 2, 3 weeks now,
Mhm.
and it's like out of their top 10.
Well, I
They're,
mean,
they're just not even like giving it money.
yeah, everybody who's listening to this podcast, though,
Yeah.
put a good word
Uh,
for it.
this
So
is
there
a
you
really good word for it. Best to go in blind, best to go in on the roller coaster. Also, probably best to watch it with somebody.
go.
Just so you can like talk about it at the end, like, wait, what just happened? It's one of those.
Right.
And you're like,
Cool.
oh, that was a good movie by the time you get to the end of it. There, if you kind of like think about it a bit too long, you may start to see like some of the plot holes and stuff to it. But as a movie in itself, I really enjoyed this one. It's What's Inside on Netflix. If you're looking for something new to watch this year for Halloween or for whatever get together, I highly recommend this movie.
All right. Cool. Sounds good. Might have to check that out.
Yep, please do. That's your homework.
That's my own. All right. Well, that'll do it for movies. And I think that'll do it for the Media Boat podcast. We did a
Yep,
quickie this week.
yeah, an hour.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week for even more. How do you follow us, you ask? Well, if you want to see video versions of our podcast, head over to YouTube and type in Media Boat, and you'll find the Media Boat podcast page. Like, subscribe, comment, and click the bell for notifications for every video that goes up. You can also find us in your ears in podcast form on podcast services such as Apple Podcasts, um, iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere you listen to podcasts, search Media Boat Podcast. You can also find us on the internet. MediaBoatPodcast.com is our website. You can also find us on social media, such as Twitter/X, where we're at MediaBoatCast. Um, Blue Sky, search Media Boat. Twitch.tv/MediaBoat is where you can see Mike playing football sometimes
Mhm.
in the Madden or NCAA variety. You can also find us anywhere you look. Just search Media Boat. Oh, yeah, and email us if you have questions, comments, feedback about the show. MediaBoatPodcast@gmail.com. All right, that'll
Yep.
do it. I was almost going to milk the last 3 minutes, but why? Why bother?
Well, I was
So,
looking up like any breaking news, and there
yeah.
was one big breaking news.
Uh-oh.
100-year-old plus man votes. Jimmy Carter makes his like 17th voting for president.
Congratulations, Jimmy Carter. All
Congratulations,
right,
Jimmy Carter. And this is your reminder to go vote.
this is your reminder. I got to do my ballot tonight. All right, I'll see you guys next time,
Yep.
and we'll be back for
We'll be
another.
back with more news, more thoughts, and more of us.
All right, bye
Okay, bye.
bye.